welcome everybody back to another episode of the Geekscape Games podcast. This is level 177. All I want for Christmas is you. That's right, we are back. We are back with another episode of the Geekscape Games podcast after a 2-year hiatus, and we're here for the Geekscape livestream supporting big brothers and little sisters. I'm your illustrious host this lovely Saturday evening, Shane O'Hare, and you can also meet my other host, Derek Cranevelt.
Oh my gosh, hearing that, I haven't heard that theme music in so long. And
yeah, it's
I mean, you couldn't see in the lobby, but as soon as it hit, I just had a smile on my face. So
hell yeah. I am
very good to be here.
Yeah, it was oh, your speakers are coming. It was a doozy digging that up. Going back to the old pictures, the old archive and everything. It was fun. Made it louder.
Is that better?
Nope, it's worse.
What's happening?
While Derek mutes his mic and figures that out,
hold on.
I would like to introduce our new co-host, Miss Katie. Katie, welcome to the Geekscape Games podcast.
Hey guys, what's up? It's so exciting to be here.
Oh my god, this is amazing. I've chatted with you a few times on the Geekscape proper, and you're an amazing individual.
Thank you.
Super excited to have you on the 2-year hiatus reunion tour of the Geekscape Games podcast. So it's awesome, and we got a lot of notes. I got a lot of notes for some games we're playing later today. But before we get into that, I do believe we have for the second time on the show, Mr. Jonathan London. Are you going to be here?
Am I going to be here?
Are you going to be here?
Are you allowed to be here?
Yeah. I'll let you do this on his own. How it went last time.
That stunk. Eric, we'll just catch you later on another show. Come on, let's be clear. He wasn't going to come back to Geekscape Games. This is all a ruse to keep himself from having to host a podcast on our network.
I think the last time...
It sounds like you're across the room right now when you talk.
Me?
Derek.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
You're going to figure it out, man. It's going to be okay.
What I like about Derek is he wants to actually make us Americans feel what it's like when he broadcasts just without technology from Canada. This is what he sounds like that far away.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better when you put the microphone in your mouth. That is better.
Keep through that mic. That'd be great.
No, don't worry about having the mic in the shot. Shane's got a whole one strapped to his face. Like, why would you do that?
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better. Now see if you can raise the gain on that microphone.
There's a little knob. Turn the knob.
If you can raise the input volume on that microphone.
I haven't podcasted in a long time, so you know.
We know, buddy. We're trying to get you back.
Is that better? Is that adequate?
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Come on up. Come on.
Test.
I'm gonna raise the system input.
You have such a great soothing voice. We just want to hear it.
How about that? Is that better? Is that what you want?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's the sweet spot right there.
Okay. All right.
Man, it wouldn't be a Geekscape Games podcast with a tremendous amount of technical difficulties.
I mean, we sorted out before
based on the schedule. We should be starting in like 4 hours as well.
That's the magic of live, people.
I remember when we for episode 1 or 2, getting 4 different individual MP3s and trying to stitch them together when everyone had different Skype delay. It would take me like 3 or 4 hours to edit one show. And you'd have Josh's fire alarm going off
for years.
I don't think he's fixed his smoke detector yet.
No, it's it's still a recurring guest on old Geekscape Games episodes.
I only have to edit together Katie and I and maybe a guest, and every now and then the sync will get off because of some,
fun times
streaming thing, and I'll just be like, you know what, forget the whole thing. I'm going with the StreamYard audio, which isn't great, but I've done some magic to it. I've learned how to do some StreamYard audio magic, but it's not my favorite way to go. I like recording the best case everything. Did y'all catch during Pirate Pete's segment that the guy has like 20 PS5s he's gonna sell?
Yo, what a jerk! What an absolute jerk!
Yeah, that is not really the holiday spirit at all. This dude has stockpiled 20 PS5s, a starting bid of $1,500.
That's a lot.
I don't know why Matt even played that ad. It was so not in the holiday spirit.
It's really not.
I'm just surprised Pirate Pete's head is intact after all these years.
I don't
The
know.
voice sounds the same every single time, though.
The voice is the same. Matt, or I was going to say Matt. Derek, you are maybe the only one in this stream that has a PS5. Are you still playing
Fancy.
Are you still playing the Xbox at all?
I ended up with both consoles. I was lucky enough to be able to get both of them at retailers and not have to online retailers. I don't leave the house these days, but I didn't have to like go shades and buy one from Pirate Pete or anything like that. So that was great. The PS5 got a good week's worth of playing when I played Spider-Man Miles Morales and when I played the new Astrobot's Playroom.
I'm so excited
which
for that.
is so much fun. Like that, playing that, like, and it's like 4 or 5 hours long, something like that. But playing that and feeling like what the controller can do in playing that game, because it's all just like, it's like a tech demo for the controller, but with like a really cute like history of PlayStation wrapped around it, and it's like I just had a smile on my face the whole time. Going back to like I had the first PlayStation, and I've had every PlayStation, and so like going back through all these memories and these games I haven't thought of for ages and ages in this like super cute package that just came with the console. Like I think that as cool as games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla has been showcasing the Xbox, and as great as Miles Morales was, like I think that this is the like Astrobot's Playroom is the single best next gen game experience I've had so far.
Woo,
like it's
that's
that
something.
cool, and just like the consoles are super fast, and it's great how everything loads, and ray tracing is neat, but like feeling that controller in your hand, like that's the best thing that I've felt so far this generation. So I got a good week's worth of playing on my PS5. I am also looking forward to jumping into Bug Snacks, which looks adorable, and I loved Octodad, which is the developer Young Horse's like previous game. Absolutely loved that. But I've since moved back to the Xbox for a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and now Cyberpunk since Thursday. So.
Shane, can you talk to us about founding the Proud Boys?
I'm sorry, what's that?
What was that like? Because you straight up have like who was that? Richard Spencer, whoever had the goatee and the like. Dude, what is that? How much wax do you put on that a day?
I don't use wax. I use locally made in Alaska beard oil. So
it is so greasy that your camera's coming in and out of focus. That's what's happening.
If I don't have a proper
way to put him on the spot, right?
Yeah, John.
Look at it, dude. You cannot stay in focus. This is beautiful.
This is a like 2004 Microsoft HD Life Cam that I dug out of a box.
I think HD meant something else back then.
Yeah. and it because the webcam on my laptop is kind of crap too. So I have, and this camera doesn't have a mount, so I have it on top of my laptop, which is in front of my computer monitor, and my desktop keyboard's on top of my lap. It's pretty.
It's a whole setup.
Do you still have a smartphone, or have you like tinfoiled around the cameras on that as well?
I if you remember a couple years ago on the Geekscape What We Want for Christmas, I went back to like a dumb phone, the Nokia 81. Piece of shit. Don't fucking do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I got a Samsung now, a brand new Samsung. It's I miss
for future. If we ever do this again, there are apps that let you use your phone as a webcam, which is what I'm using right now. And it's really good because it means my laptop's over there. I'm not at like a weird angle. It was like $10, which is way cheaper and way faster than finding a webcam in this day and age.
Shane, how many of your OnlyFans ask for refunds?
The only one.
Yeah, you're the only one, John, and I gave you all your money back plus a little bonus. So.
Oh.
Derek, the Astrobot, what's it called again? Astrobot, like
it's called Astro's Playroom.
Astro's Playroom. Mm-hmm. I heard that it's got really eclectic old Sony history. Like you can collect the GPS for the PSP in it.
Yeah, there's all these like based on the levels are fairly linear. It's like a platformer. but there's all these kind of like side paths you can go down, and you can find artifacts basically, which are the game overall is like 4 different worlds, and so there's like a PS1 world and a PS2 world and so all the artifacts will be from that world, and there's like weird stuff that like I had never like there's like a I think like a heartbeat sensor for like the PSP and like a camera for the original PlayStation, like just weird stuff like that that never went anywhere, and then stuff too where you're like, oh, I remember these the PlayStation Move controller, which are now terrible PlayStation VR controllers.
Oh, they're
like,
horrible. They're the worst. They're
and they're
bad.
still, you know, why is this in the PS3 section when they're still selling them today? Like that sort of thing. But it's so cute, and on all the coins that you find, you put into like one of those, what is it, like a gacha machine, like where it just pops out a ball, and then like it could be an artifact, it could be a statue of like an Astrobot doing something PlayStation wise. Just super cute stuff, and it's all like interactive. Like you can go and like hit this, you know, there's this place where you can go and look at all your artifacts, and if you like jump on the open button on the PlayStation console, the disk drive opens up, and like just all this, like it just really feels like a labor of love.
That's so
yeah,
cool.
it's super.
Now,
it's super cute.
Are you just playing that just straight pancake style, or do you have the PSVR headset on?
It does not have any PlayStation VR compatibility.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't think
just,
so. So it's just pancake style.
Yeah.
Pancake
I've never
style.
heard that in my entire life.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
like it's the difference between VR and just like straight up.
Oh
gaming.
yes, okay,
Oh,
Pancake
All right.
versus
yeah.
the whole internet.
Waffles.
Yeah, waffles. Yes, the depths.
Waffles
of
are better.
waffle.
Yeah. Yeah.
don't they,
I love how the Geekscape game show is where we're having the technical difficulty. The show that's actually about technology is where we're getting some hiccups on the stream.
What's happening now?
No, it's, you know, just little hiccups here and there. It's all good. If Matt's good with it, we're all good with it.
Yeah. That's good.
So Shane, what is on the docket for this episode?
We've got a list of, I took notes of some classic retro holiday games that Derek suggested we play, and I played a whole bunch, took some notes, and I think we should go around and talk about some retro Christmas themed games. Which what?
To be clear, I suggested that we play one game, and Jonathan chose it, and it was terrible.
And it was so bad and destroyed my childhood that I then went and looked for any other redeeming Christmas games, and
He's still looking.
it still sucked. And I don't know what it is about like Christmas or holiday games, but they're terrible.
I
They
mean,
usually take some kind of like an established franchise and then do like a cosmetic change to the costumes and the levels and slap it together with a lot less development, and there you have the Christmas edition.
no, yeah, and it also, the games you suggested were from the early '90s, so getting them to work was a little bit of a.
I mean, I just had to click a button and it opened in my browser, so it wasn't that hard.
Yeah, it was. We played Lemmings or Xmas Lemmings, and it. I hadn't played Lemmings since the '90s, and that game is a pile of dog shit.
So I've never played Lemmings before, and I still don't think I have. And and I didn't want to look anything up. I wanted to. This is like harder than Viva Pinata, and Viva Pinata gave me a lot of stress and struggle. It made me cry like the highways in City Skylines. Like, oh, it was like I couldn't even read the screen where it's like, here's what you're supposed to do in this level, and I'm like pretty like colorblind, and like I'm like, is there words on here?
You sent a screenshot, and it looked like just like a repeat background of like digitized like bushes. I don't know.
It looked like one of those magic graphics from the mall where you have to stare at it.
You have to go like with your eyes crossed and
Remember
pull
those
out.
magic?
And then when you look away, you still see the.
I never could get those magic like images. I was like,
Neither
I don't
could Derek.
know.
I don't know what you're talking
Colorblind.
about. So
He's like, cool design. Is that
you guys had
wallpaper?
malls? We didn't have malls in Canada. What are you talking about?
So Lemmings was my choice, and it's because I have hardcore nostalgia for the franchise. I played it on the old Commodore Amiga in like 91, 92, 93. And I remember it as like a pretty fun strategy game where there's just a relentless amount of these little lemmings that get poured out of a chute onto the level, and the level has all sorts of dangers on it, from like fire to cliffs to things that'll eat you to buzzsaws. and your job is to assign jobs to the lemmings to build ramps over or get umbrellas to fall and survive cliffs. Maybe a lemming will stop the other lemmings and then make them turn around, but the lemmings never stop walking. Your job is to hurry ahead of them and start assigning jobs for the lemmings to help each other out. They can dig, they can climb, but you have a limited amount of jobs that you can assign to each one. So on this level, there were like snowmen that blocked your path, and it's a snowy landscape, and you just had the lemmings going back and forth until you assign one of them to start digging. But if you give it the wrong dig one, he won't dig across, he'll dig down and then just make a pit for all the lemmings to fall into. And then there was things like fire and stuff like that. I got to tell you, in the opening graphic to this, the commercial that Brian Kelly made, it has
that was so cool.
It has a snippet from Lemmings, and the color distinction in that snippet was better than the one that we used. I couldn't tell what lemmings there were to choose from, except like trial and error. And I just kept killing them all to try and figure out, okay, the third from the right is the umbrella lemming. The second from the right is the digging lemming. That's the only way I would be able to get through this, because those graphics are awful. And 10-year-old Jonathan must have had some kind of rampant imagination, because how can you tell what the hell those lemmings were?
I could not, Like each like button for I guess a job based on what you're describing, which I'm learning now, it was like 3 or 4, like it's like 3 or 4 pixels. Like it doesn't mean anything. It was pretty rough.
Tough.
The original Lemming games were really well designed, and then this add-on suffers from the, hey, let's just make some badly designed levels and do a Christmas version with a cosmetic change. I just remember the original Lemmings being actually pretty great and leading to a whole franchise.
Where did that franchise go?
Well, Psychoness.
Ran off a cliff.
Psychosis or Psychoness?
Psygnosis.
Psygnosis, it was a European company that developed it. They owned it, and then Sony bought them in the late 90s, early 2000s. So Lemmings is still technically a Sony property. I didn't
see it in Astro's Playroom.
I actually looked into like optioning Lemmings as a kid's cartoon, and I was like, I wonder who owns Lemmings. And I got all the way to Sony, and I was like,
nope.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. And then we thought, you know what? These characters enter the levels and are just like hell-bent on killing themselves. Is that a kids shit movie? No, it's not. So I bailed on it.
Well, do you know where the myth of the lemmings running off the cliff came from?
No.
Yeah, Trump voters.
It came. There was a Walt Disney documentary on like an animal documentary, and they were filming lemmings, and they're like, "Man, these little animals aren't interesting at all." So they just threw them off a cliff and said that lemmings ran off a cliff.
No,
so
Shane, come on. This QAnon stuff will not stand on the new version of Geekscape Games. Are you kidding me?
No, they put them on like a turntable on the edge of a cliff and spun them, and they fell off the cliff. And you can thank the Walt Disney Corporation for starting that myth. Yeah.
Really?
Matt Kelly has said that this is true. This is awful.
Yeah.
Some of y'all, Disney Plus comes with a National Geographic subscription and a lot of packages, and
clearly none of you have ever seen
that.
We would love to see that documentary. That is horrific.
I mean, hopefully it's going to be coming with all the content that they're going to be dropping in Disney Plus anyway.
Yeah.
These lemmings are dropping into Disney Plus right now.
You might be spoiling a future Mandalorian episode. They might do that to Baby Yoda. They might just throw him off a damn cliff. Holy shit. That's awful.
No, that's great. Katie, have you played, what's your experience with Lemmings?
I've never played Lemmings, but I have seen people play it, and I have seen some of the screenshots you guys have sent me. It looks like just the prequel to Fall Guys to me, honestly. Like that's
pretty accurate.
It just feels like Fall Guys is like, okay, we're just gonna rebrand this and make it a little bit peppier.
Let's make it fun.
Let's make it
this time.
Let's make it fun, and it's gonna be all your fault with one character.
Back in our day, we had the Lemmings in the snow. All right. And I remember actually enjoying this game when I was a kid. So it gets better.
It's an odd vote of confidence. We played it on a retro emulator website, and that was not not good. So I went and I found a copy of the game and installed a DOS box on my computer, and it still wasn't good. So it's no complaints to the emulator website, but
turns out the emulator site was great.
Yeah, it was perfect. But when you click start, there's a starting screen that says like, oh, don't let your lemmings die or whatever. But you couldn't read it because there was like a mistletoe and holly pattern that was like tessellating on the back, and I thought my computer broke. I was like, oh my god.
That's what looked like the magic eye pattern was that screen.
Yeah,
and it tells you how many you have, what your time limit is, and you really have to sit there and look at the screen to discern it, like a magic eye poster in the mall.
Yeah, and it had been years, like 20 years since I played a Lemmings game, and I forgot everything. And like I had one lemming that was like building a bridge, but then he ran out of sticks and just fell and like died. And then there was a button that caused a lemming to blow himself up. That's
the reset lemming. That's like, oh, I fucked up. I shouldn't have put him there.
Yeah, but he blew up other lemmings and made a hole in the ground that everyone got stuck in. It felt like a game you would get on your TI-83 calculator.
Oh my gosh, that was the best, especially when you were in class and you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm totally doing this function.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mario.
Yeah, Mario Block Dude.
Yes.
Oh, Block Dude.
Block Dude.
Block Dude.
I want to come clean that in the beginning of all this, Derek was like, "Man, what is this game? It's piece of shit." Blah blah blah. And this is before I played it. And in my head, I'm like, "Man, Derek must suck at video games." What is?
I mean, I do. But...
on the show, we established that the host of our video game show sucks at video games, but he loves them so much.
But hey, he's good at Mario Kart.
That's true.
He's great at Mario.
You only
Kart.
need one game, and that's my game.
But is Mario Kart a game or is it a lifestyle?
That's true.
It's a passion.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's a passion. It's an absolute passion.
Yeah. Well,
it's a calling, dude.
I misread the email, and I played multiple Christmas themed games.
I even you were like, yeah, let's choose like 3 or 4 games, and I was like, let's we don't have that much time. Let's keep it to like just 1 or 2, and then
it didn't take as long to throw Lemmings in the trash heap, and I was so unsatisfied that I was like, okay, what else is on this list? And I went straight to Duke Nukem Nuclear Winter, which without a separate mouse to use for your firing button and your aiming is beyond trash.
Especially like on an Apple trackpad, which is very nice, but only has one button.
It has one button. I chose the Los Angeles, I chose to start the level on Los Angeles. I don't know if you did this too, Shane, but you start on this rooftop and you have like 50 bullets. The graphics are trash. It looks like a bad Doom clone. You've seen it a million times. And I'm like rotating my camera back and forth using my cursor keys, and I'm figuring out like, okay, what is firing? What is jump? I'm figuring this all out. You have to shoot these barrels in the corner of the roof in order to clear up like a chute that you can come down and then land on street level. I mean, it looks just like Hollywood Boulevard. Let me tell you, it's so exact. There's a theater with a marquee. There's stars on the ground. It just looks like
bunch of cops shooting you.
Then these mutants start coming out of nowhere.
Over there,
and you shoot the mutants.
Elmo.
You walk around. The problem is when you're trying to rotate using the trackpad and the mouse cursor, you're just getting eaten alive. I played like 3 times. I died like 3 times, and I was like, no, fuck this game too.
Well, and was that on an emulator as well?
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of the issue.
Yeah, the only thing
yes, there it is. Yeah,
there's the Lemming screen.
Don't worry, everybody.
Does that say rating Xmas at the bottom?
Look, this says level 1, Merry Christmas Lemming. Number of Lemmings 50. 50%,
you need 50%
to be saved. Release. Oh my god. Release rate 40. Time 5 minutes. Rating Christmas. That is difficult.
Yeah.
That
I
looks
think
like you dropped your screen on like a hard surface.
I agree, but then Brian Kelly took a clip from that game off the internet somewhere and put it in our video intro, and it looked completely different. It looked
usable.
discernible. Yeah.
Found the HD version.
We all know what Derek goes through as a colorblind person every day looking at that screen, because that was brutality.
All that game needed was color correction in After Effects, and it would be great.
It'd be fun.
Maybe lowered standards of 12-year-old Jonathan in a time machine is what that game needed.
I think when you're loading the game off a cassette tape that takes 15 minutes, you'll put up with more BS. I gotta rewind the tape and put it into the Amiga drive.
Yeah, I remember that game coming on floppies, 3.5-inch floppies, and that's how I played those games. There were a lot of. I thought the Amiga was an awesome system, and I was adamant, even though I still loved all the PC games, mainly the Sierra and like LucasArts games at the time. Even though I loved those games, I was adamant that the Amiga was like the stronger graphical computer, and I think for a while it was. I think for a while that was like the one you go to for art, and PC was all business and hardcore gaming. But game.
One of the last Amiga PCs had a really competent 3D modeling program, so it was used in the industry. So you're right.
Yeah.
Did you guys
what
see
happened to that?
the High Score episode where they interviewed the guys who created Doom and the whole story behind that?
No, what is High Score?
High Score
I'm inept. I'm very inept, so I'm not.
No, you're good. You're good. No, it's a documentary series that's actually really enjoyable on Netflix. I interviewed the creators of it, and they're super awesome and very into gaming. And they combine a bunch of reenactment cartoons. So a lot of some of the people who have passed away, they can recreate these moments. Hey, what's up, Daniel Calvazano? How you doing, dude? But they interview basically the people who created the foundation for gaming, anywhere from Nintendo to Sony to all these different types of people, and then they do these reenactment stuff when they get deep into a story, just with cartoons and these awesome animations. It's fascinating. It's really good, yeah. But there's one episode that's devoted to Doom, and they had created the promo for Doom, and they had not created the game yet. And they were like, this is going to be the best game ever. It's going to be customizable and all this stuff. And there's nothing you've ever seen before. And people were crashing the servers before they could even upload it. It was great.
So it was Kickstarter before Kickstarter.
It is in a way. Yeah. So they when they initially released it, they released a beta version. And it was kind of the first time that there was
Sounds
a beta
like
version.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, kind of, but they only had one level or something to it, so you had to buy in order to be able to customize it and play the actual full game. But yeah, it's a great episode. I highly recommend watching it.
Katie, I'm just gonna interject and say that I remember downloading that first level.
Did you?
Shareware.
Did you do
Yes,
it?
it was shareware. Yeah, the first Doom level was shareware, and it was definitely the first game, because they did the same thing with Wolfenstein, and id Software was huge on shareware, where you'd get the first level and then you'd have to buy the full game to get the rest of it. And those first levels were rampant on BBSs. If you go log into some BBS, you could download. I loved Commander Keen. I loved all those games, and I think I've talked on the main show about doing how much I played Drug Wars on those, where you log into somebody's BBS, you make a couple moves, you buy low, sell high, and you play Drug Wars, do a hit on people. The next person who logs in gets assassinated.
Isn't that a huge mobile game too? When smartphones started, it was
later
Mafia
on,
Wars or something.
Mobile game. But
I had Drug Wars on my TI-83 calculator.
Shane, let's be clear. You played Drug Wars in Alaska up until a few years ago. So
absolutely.
That's not a game. Allegedly. Sorry. Allegedly. Allegedly. And he did not start the Proud Boys.
Actually,
end them.
Yeah. I got asked to join the Proud Boys, and I was like, I'm not going to hang out with you anymore.
I think everybody in Alaska got that in their junk mail. I think they went to everybody in Alaska. Was like, hey, our chances of recruitment in Alaska are pretty high.
Came along with your mailing ballot or something.
Doom was one of those games that like you'd look over, you'd be like, are my parents watching? Because everybody just thought it was so satanic.
Yeah, well, I remember
you just had to be careful your parents weren't watching you play Doom.
I remember because like Christmas break was the time to play all the video games because your parents weren't watching you. You were on break. They had to do work and all that. And I remember going to my friend Rachel's house. She was my best friend growing up. And she showed me some of Doom. And I remember because we were like strict Christians. And it was just like, oh my God, we are so in it now. Like, this is so cool. And like,
how come no one's talking about these demons on Mars?
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, oh, it's so gory. And luckily, we didn't get caught with that. I did get caught watching stickdeath.com.
It's Stick Fighter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My dad gave me a big talking to when I did stickdeath.com. He was like, this is not okay.
I showed that to my dad and he loved it. And my mom saw us watching it and she's like, what are you doing to my son? This is terrible. And I was like, oh, I'm corrupting your husband. Sorry.
My mom and dad were exactly opposite of
that. There was one of my favorite things that looking back it is so like out of touch now, but during like Windows 95 or 3.1 when they was coming out, Bill Gates did a press, or it was at a conference or something where it was you can play Doom on Windows, and they were playing a video of one of the levels, and then Bill Gates walks out superimposed in his normal like Bill Gates clothes, but with a black leather trench coat and a shotgun. And this was like a year before Columbine. So
oh my God.
It was real close, and it was like he definitely looked like Trench Coat Mafia, and it was.
Can we find that online? That has to be somewhere.
It's like, oh, look at these graphics, and like it's like you can do this on Windows 95, and it was.
No!
What a damn edgelord!
Yeah.
So we can blame Bill Gates for Columbine, is what you're saying.
I ain't getting that vaccine. Bill Gates gonna put nanites in me.
Nanites. That was but I remember I loved the shareware era of DOS gaming.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite studios was Apogee. And they had a game called Hocus Pocus that was
no relation.
I know. I was really bummed about that too because I was really excited for.
Here it is. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, and you can see Bill Gates' face down at the health bar.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my God!
No,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my God!
That is cringy as hell.
That is cringy. It looks like he's like in a bathrobe.
Bet it sold some Windows 95 though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it did.
Wow.
He's in khakis, loafers, a sweater vest, and a leather trench coat, holding a shotgun
with that good bowl cut.
Yeah,
he looks like one of the like fired extras from Mad Dog McCree is what he looks like.
Yeah, but
he looks like Mad Dog McCree's accountant. Is what that is. You rob another bank? Okay, let's pay some taxes on it.
Wasn't Mad Dog McCree like a super popular arcade game that was like a couple dollars around?
Yeah, it was a CD-ROM game, and it was one of those early CD Laserdisc. Yeah, it was a Laserdisc game. It had a lot of that live action video.
It was like an FMV game. Yeah,
I got to tell you, I was making a reference to early CD-ROM games, and I pulled up on YouTube some clips from Wing Commander 3 and 4, which were like my games, and. Woo! I would love for that to get an HD upgrade if that footage is still out there anywhere, because that's a nasty looking video.
Yo, Wing Commander 3 was my favorite out of the series, and it was stellar. But there might be hope. Was Wing Commander Westwood Studios?
No, it was Origin, which was bought by EA.
Bought by EA. So Westwood was also bought by EA. There's a great documentary on NoClip about the Command & Conquer like remastered edition that came out earlier this year, and it was basically the community approached EA and said, "Hey, can we remake this game? And they went back to the old developers that no longer work at EA. They were pulling out tape drives of FMV videos from storage and like stuff that like, oh, that got sent to the dumpster. It's like, oh wait, but I know so and so saved a copy. There's a
Wow.
It could be.
And that's a live action. That has like live action video elements to it.
Yeah.
Because this stuff, I mean, Mark Hamill's in it, and in this, there's just so many.
Isn't Ron Perlman in it?
No, it's got Malcolm McDowell is in the fourth one, and then if you look at Wing Commander Privateer, it's got Christopher Walken and Clive Owen in it.
Wow.
So it's got these Hollywood actors in it, and that footage has to be somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Roberts, if you're watching the Geekscape Holiday Livestream-taclar, can we talk about maybe some of that footage being somewhere? We can re-release a badass version of Wing Commander 3 and 4.
Did the remastered version of Command and Conquer include that footage then?
Yes.
Really?
The documentary footage or the FMV?
No, the
Yeah.
FMV footage. Did it make it into the remake? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's not to spoil the no clip documentary because it's like a good 45 minutes.
His stuff is so good.
Yeah, but they went to person after person and went into storage, found old original DAT tapes. Went to the original programmer and he pulled out his archive of sound effects and music.
That's
Even
so cool.
recomposed some stuff. So
wow.
it's,
Wow.
a lot went into that. It was definitely a big love letter. And if EA of all companies said, "Hey,
Yeah, right.
like,
Let's invest in this.
yeah," it was. There's a chance. Let's start it.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Let's
You just made
do
me
it.
so happy. Now, can we do the same for Lemmings?
No,
Mm.
no.
All right.
There's.
I feel like there is some remastering happening. Am I wrong in that?
For Lemmings?
Lemmings, yeah. I thought there was something in the
There
ether.
were versions on. I know there were versions on the Game Boy Advance and like as late as that kind of era of video game consoles. Maybe the Xbox or the PS1, but I'm not sure. I don't think it was really.
I feel like that would be a rough. So you have to use a controller for that too. That would be rough.
Yeah, Game Boy Advance. Could you imagine with that? Like trying to move the reticle around with your little cursor.
No.
Oof. Oof.
It reminded me of Lost Vikings, Lost Vikings would be a really good progression of the Lemmings like idea.
I remember it. What was like your favorite video game that you got as a Christmas or holiday gift?
Sorry. Well, let's let Miss Katie. What was your favorite? Like John said. Sorry.
Okay, so mine was actually very funny how it happened. Maybe, but my parents had gotten divorced, and I know, and like honestly, my first
Double
reaction was that it was going to be a double Christmas, and I was sad about my parents, but I was stoked about double Christmas. And all I wanted that year was an N64, baby, and I wanted I think at the time, because it was a little bit later than everything had released, I think because I had played Ocarina of Time, and that was like my all-time favorite game at my friend Rachel's house. But I think at the same time, Majora's Mask was out, and the prequel Star Wars game, the pod racing game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So my dad was like, "I'm not getting you an N64. What else do you want?"
You can just spend more time at Rachel's. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I lived there.
As long as you go over to Rachel's, you can have my girlfriends over whenever you want.
And so, I said nothing. I was like, I don't want anything else. I don't even want like a car or anything. I was like, I just want an N64. So both my mom and my dad separately got me an N64. I know. It's
Oh my
terrible. Yeah, I know. I got an N64 from my dad for Christmas the year my parents did. Yeah, I mean, listen.
What do you do?
I think they ended up like selling it to some other kid, but we only had like one. I was like, no, it'd be great because then I'll have one at dad's house, then I'll have one at mom's house.
You just got to carry your memory card back and forth.
Exactly, right? But no, didn't have it like that. But I did get Ocarina of Time. I got the pod racing game, which I really loved. It was like the first time I could like customize like a pod. And I got Majora's Mask, and that game tricked me the hell out. That game was so good.
That's like if David Lynch made a video game. It's
Yeah.
It's cracked out, man. It's really cracked out.
It's trippy as fuck. Are we not cussing on this?
No, you can cuss.
Charity stream.
You can cuss. Just remember,
Kids gotta learn somehow.
That click the link and go to Big Brothers Big Sisters and make a donation. For every time Katie curses, you have to put $1 into the swear jar.
Oh, I love this. Let's make this the game.
If we could actually have a swear jar where people donated to Big Brothers Big Sisters during the broadcast, that'd be amazing. And this would be like I'd bring back Pirate Pete to talk like a pirate.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That story is amazing. Can you tell your parents you want a PS5 this year?
I know.
You can sell one.
I do want, but like I'm an adult now that's working overtime at my job, so I'm like, yeah, I could get myself one. I still haven't though.
You can't find them unless you're Derek.
But you know what has happened? Somebody has been selling pictures of PS5s and has said in the description,
it's a classic eBay scheme.
Yeah, but they're taking out all of the people who are basically trying to hoard all the PS5s and rack up the price. This dude has sold hundreds of pictures at like $400 a piece.
You know what? Cheers to him.
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm like, yep. Cheers to you, dude. Well done getting all the, but I do feel really bad. It's in the description in all caps, like, this is a picture. Please know that you are buying a picture.
He may be the most successful photographer of 2020.
Might be.
That was rampant when the 360 came out and when
were people just selling the boxes?
Yep.
Yeah. And especially with Xbox's terrible naming conventions, it's so confusing anyways that you just throw the word box in somewhere. You're totally legit, but you're just selling,
Did
they thought of that? That's terrible.
Xbox box? Is that what they were saying?
Oh, it's great SEO. Wow. It's a bunch of like really bad like 1999 SEO on the bottom. Xbox.
That's why when I bought a Wii,
just white text on the white page.
When I bought a Wii on eBay, I just got a bunch of urine. That's what that was. Oh, I got a big jar of it.
Man, I remember when the Wii came out, and I was like, that is the worst name you could ever name a system. And I was like, what? And then I saw the controllers, and I was like, this is not okay, guys.
And then the Wii U happened, and you were like, hey, they made it worse.
I was like,
the Wii U, I will defend the Wii U every time. That was
the name, though.
It wasn't a bad system. The Wii U was bad, though.
Oh, terrible.
The naming of it.
Yeah.
Terrible marketing. Let's keep going. Favorite Christmas video game?
Just a few years ago, actually.
Both systems that are impossible to find.
So typically retailers are like, hey, on this day, this thing that's going to be really popular at this time is going to go up for pre-order. So like, just be ready. And like, it took like 4 seconds. It wasn't that hard. Favorite Christmas game though, I think was just probably a few years ago. And it wasn't so much something I got for Christmas, but it was something that I did not expect Michaela to approve, but we got some Christmas money, from family and whatnot. PlayStation VR was brand new at that point, and so she allowed us to, she let us use that Christmas money. She's like, I don't give a shit about that, but she knew how important it was to me, and she was like, yeah, we can use like that Christmas money and put a little bit of our own money in because it was very expensive at launch, and seeing the price of the PlayStation VR now kind of makes me a little bit sick at seeing and knowing how much I paid for it. But that was like my first VR.
You that was like out on all that enjoyment though.
Oh, it was and that was like my first VR headset because
it's a good starter headset.
Absolutely.
It's not great, but it's a good starter headset.
It's a system of compromises, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of quality and very fun titles on there, and I did not at the time and still never have had like a PC that's been capable of VR, and so now I've my PSVR is collecting dust because it's worthless, but I've moved on to the Oculus Quest and now the Oculus Quest 2, and I like from waiting in line with Shane at Comic-Cons to just like try VR stuff back in the day, like
there's a video on YouTube, folks.
Oh God,
Paranormal Activity.
That video is so embarrassing.
Just wigging out at stuff.
Yeah,
we were at a VR like mini convention outside
of
Comic-Con.
Pre-Comic-Con.
Yeah. And there was a Paranormal Activity VR game, and I was like, fuck it, let's do it. I was screaming like a child.
Like It was to the point where all of the it was a fairly decent sized area. All of the people that were representing the other booths stopped what they were doing just so they could watch Shane freak out,
scream.
Yeah, freak out at this game. It's like one of my favorite Comic-Con memories.
Why won't the ghost have sex with me? It's not that kind of game.
Wrong game, Shane.
It was bad. It was scary. It was spooky.
Well, horror games in general are bad for me, but when you're in VR, Machinima put me through the ringer during October of 2018 because they put me in every horror VR game, and let me tell you, that shit is 10 times scarier when you're 100%. Just right there. Have you played?
And then they fired everybody. So
and then they fired everybody. So it's all fine. They're like, "Hey, thanks for getting your heart rate up. Get out."
You said Machinima put you through the ringer. I was like, "Cause then they fired everybody."
Yeah, they did. They did. Which is, I have a behind the scenes story for you later about that. But have you guys played Exorcist in VR?
No, is it worth it? Is it good?
Yeah. I mean, look, I might have just been amped because it was my first couple of times doing horror in VR, but it's insane. The Room VR is also really scary. There's a couple I can give you a couple titles that are just terrifying and disgusting. But yeah, I would say I would highly recommend Exorcist in VR.
Cool.
Are you gonna do it, Derek?
Probably, yeah. They usually last year Oculus had a really good Boxing Day sale, where a lot of that was the first big sale for the platform. Did you play it on Quest or did you play it on PC? Because a few of those games I'm wary about. A few of the games that started on PC VR, I'm wary about how they'll perform in a native Quest version. A lot of games perform really well, but how much atmosphere do you lose when you have to dumb down the graphics so far to play on the Quest platform?
Right. Yeah. No. And I did play on a Vive Pro, and we were all hooked in. Yeah, it was PC, but
sure.
Yeah, they sell it in chapters, so you don't have to do the full game of it. You can just do one chapter, and I played through the first and second chapter, and
cool.
I'm pretty sure I shit my pants. There is video on my YouTube about
I'm also
that.
super curious.
Would know. Yeah, John's right. You would know.
In October, they Bloober Team launched Blair Witch for Oculus Quest, which I played through and loved on Xbox. So that's definitely one where it's always hard watching a trailer or a YouTube video of a VR game, because even a lot of PC VR games look like crap when you put them into pancake mode. But
I love that, by the way. I'm going to use that.
Pancake?
Please do.
Yeah.
You're the one who introduced us to waffle stomping, so why not?
Waffle style is not a term, but okay, we can
waffle stomping. Yeah.
Waffle stomping is maybe we won't reintroduce the back catalog of Geekscape Games.
You can Google that one later.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I'm gonna be looking at some things that I don't want to look at later.
No, and don't listen to old episodes of the Geekscape Games podcast. That's yeah. Oh, shout out!
Wow.
Shout out to Ian Rainey for his donation.
Hey, congrats.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you so much. Just to wrap the subject before Shane, you give us your Christmas mention, I will say that I did get the original 1986 NES for a Christmas present with my brothers, and having everybody just kind of wave their hands to move Mario before we all really chilled out as kids with the controller is something I'll never forget. You're trying to get Mario to move to the side by motion controlling an old NES controller was just a lot of fun, and I can see it right now. But I'm going to actually skip ahead to another Nintendo product and say that I'll go with the Wii. I will go with that. I thought that the Wii also, with Waggle feature, was so innovative at the time. And Geekscapists who've been watching since Geekdrome remember me camping outside of Best Buy for the Wii and getting it, and I just thought it was great. And having those first few weeks with the Wii where I was playing through Twilight Princess and Wii Sports is a classic, and that was a great system, and that was a really great time because it was so innovative, and I won't forget it. I loved that original Wii. So shout out to Laura for helping me get that Wii in the early days of Geekscape. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah.
I remember. It was Geekdrome episode 11 or something.
No, it was the last episode.
Oh, was it? Oh man,
yeah.
Geekdrome was old. Oof.
Yeah. Did you see? I was real quick, Shane, and we'll I guess end on you talking about your Christmas gift. But Not that I'm hosting the show, but I was leaving the comic book store this Wednesday or Thursday, and my comic book store guy says, "Hey man, Kevin Smith mentioned you, well, as the Geekscape dude, on his podcast last week." And I guess Kevin Smith said that his first podcast, the person who got him into podcasting or introduced him to podcasting, was that Geekscape guy.
No way. That's awesome.
There you go. Cheers to you, Kevin.
Cheers to Kevin Smith.
Shouts out.
Awesome.
So my Christmas memory was getting the Nintendo 64 with Mario and Pilot Wing 64, and I'd never had an SNES. I had a Genesis, but I used to play Pilot Wings on the SNES at my uncle's house all the time. It was a stellar game. Does anybody remember Pilot Wings?
Hell yes.
Yeah, that's and when the Virtual Console came out on the Switch, I played the shit out of that. I remember all the old lines, but setting up. I'll never forget the smell of the packaging and like the plastic and like the brand new cables, hooking up that huge power brick into the back of the 64.
So big.
And for I think for the first couple of weeks of having Mario 64 or everything, I didn't know where the Z button was on the controller.
Oh yeah, the trigger.
Oh,
the trigger.
Yeah.
So I could not find it, and so you'd be in the castle and be like, hold the Z button to do a backflip, and I'm like, where's the Z button? And I remember seeing the commercial, watching Mario do a backflip in the commercial. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. Weeks go by, and I was also playing Pilot
You didn't
Wing.
call the Nintendo hotline?
Oh God, no!
You didn't talk to Nestor?
Yeah. Yes, man.
Remember Nestor? Nestor was to do with the tie. Who was the expert?
And for weeks, and then one day I wake up to play it, and the controller's upside down. I'm like,
oh my gosh,
what the hell is that? And I look at it, it says Z, and I'm like, holy crap! And that changed everything.
It unlocked so much in me.
Oh.
Is Pilot Wings what made you want to live in an airplane hangar?
No, I think poverty and necessity made me want to live in an airplane hangar.
That's awesome.
It's rent free. So
rent free in your head.
This is like a long going alcohol withdrawal hallucination I'm going through.
He wakes up in a cold sweat. Oh, I thought it was just a dream.
Oh, what's a Geekscape?
I'm gonna hitchhike to Alaska.
Did you guys have anybody who you would play with, have a friend that you would play with that just would not go easy on you? That was the one way that I learned how to do Super Smash Brothers on the N64 was because my friend would not that in Cruisin' World. She never went easy. I love World and USA.
Kangaroo and kept smacking me
She's
off the road.
the shit out of me. I forgot about the kangaroos.
Yeah, they splatter when you hit them.
Max Shepard, my childhood nerd friend. He grew up very rich, and he had fucking everything. So he had every console, and he had
nerd though, right?
Yeah, every game, and he would fucking just put me into the ground in GoldenEye 64. Could not beat him. It was rough.
There was a kid who lived on the other side of the fence behind our house. His mom would give him every game, and he sucked at them. I think, and so we would go over there, and he literally would have every game. I wasn't going to say that, Derek. And he would get to a hard part, and he would hand me the controller and be like, "You beat him." You really. What I remember,
you were basically his older brother.
I was a year ahead of him in school, and I was the Nintendo nerd. So I would read all the Nintendo powers.
You're his Nestor.
I would just read all that stuff and know it.
Was he straight up about it though, where he was like, "This is too hard. Can you play it?" Or was he you should have a turn now? No,
he would play it and then he would pause it and say, "Take over for me." And this was the 1989 Batman game for Tim Burton's Batman, which is fucking great game.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But the Game Boy was really, the Game Boy was really my jam. I think I got the Game Boy for my birthday though, so that one is not. That doesn't qualify as a Christmas gift.
We got to save it for the birthday special.
That one was awesome.
Oh man, I loved the OG Game Boy. I never had any of the newer versions or anything like that. I was always a couple years late on systems because we weren't we get this now and day of. But man, I loved that Game Boy. I remember in the back of my dad's car, like when we were in his old silver Windstar, if anybody remembers those minivans. Yeah. I would have like the reading light on because that green screen, like when it was dark out, like you couldn't see shit. And like my dad's like, we're in the middle of a freeway. You got to turn that off. And I was like, but I got to finish this Kirby level.
That like pea soup green graphics.
Yeah.
Something else.
I vividly remember going up to the front seat, opening the glove box, and playing Pokemon Blue with the glove box light.
With the glove box light.
That's
That's amazing.
I never
Best
thought
game
of that.
on the old school Game Boy. There was Gargoyle's Quest, Ghouls and Ghosts 2. I'm going to go by it, and then my second favorite, which granted the one I played the most of all time was when I was in college. It was actually Pokemon, but when it was OG Game Boy, not the Game Boy Color, OG Game Boy was Quirk, the little tomato guy with the mohawk, going through levels, doing puzzles with sunglasses.
Yeah.
If I was a video game character, I would think I would be Sonic. Nope, I'd be Quirk.
Nice.
For some reason, I always had just this like obnoxious love for just golf on the Game Boy, and
Really?
yeah, and I don't like I can
Wait, why
like
did you describe it as obnoxious?
well,
I
like
think it's a classic.
Is it a class? I just thought like
it's
I didn't like
classic.
golf. I didn't like sports, but I couldn't like fucking stop playing this game.
Golf game.
Just this golf game, and then when like Golf Story came out on the Switch, like Golf Story was my jam. Golf Story's like this RPG. It's like got a story, and you're trying to become this like hero golfer, and it's so good. But it just feels like such an homage to that original golf game. And I don't even know what, but yeah, there's I don't know, Mario games and like so many games for Game Boy, and I'm just like, nah, I'll just play golf.
I still have some of my old Game Boy cartridges around here, and I think I still have my Kirby's Dream World. That was one of my favorite ones. It wasn't originally the Zelda games will always be my number one in my heart, but like that Kirby game, that was something else.
I really loved I think it was Game Boy Color, but I loved the Oracle of Ages and Seasons, where like Zelda games they were so different than everything else, but I loved them so much.
I never got to play that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was hoping that they were gonna maybe revamp that and put that on the Switch or something.
Didn't
like
they?
that.
They did.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah, and
A couple years ago.
That's I actually played them on the. I actually think that I played them on the 3DS, but I remember the rhythm game elements. They are in the virtual store. The rhythm game elements to the two games, where you get to one boss and they have like a little dance around, and you have to match the rhythm on that stuff. Oh yeah, a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, speaking of LucasArts, lately, or at least the last time I played a game, which has been a little minute because I've been so busy with work, but I started playing Day of the Tentacles, the remastered version, on my Twitch stream. It's a bit glitchy, but holy cow, all the things that I'm like randomly remembering, and I'm like, I'm not going to look anything up, and I'm just like, what do I do with the gum and the dime? Like, there's a dime and there's also like a quarter. And I know that they have to do with some LucasArts games were so great.
We were just in storage, and I have the original boxes with the discs inside of them for Wing Commander 4, Wing Commander 3, Day of the Tentacle.
I'll buy them off you.
Should shadow box that stuff.
I have Doom.
Sell them to me. I'll buy them off
Put them in a shadow box. Put them on your wall.
They belong in a museum.
Don't give them to Shane.
But did y'all
They'll just get lost in the hangar.
Did y'all see what I bought myself for my birthday this year?
What'd you buy?
Did you get it already?
Limited. I don't. They're not going to mail it until probably
yeah.
May. But Limited Run Games had a $200 Monkey Island 30th anniversary box set that comes with all 5 games, a disc drive. It's got disc 22, which you play the original second game, and you get to a part of the map where it was like, please insert disc 22. There's no disc 22, but now there is. It comes with a statue. It comes with maps. It comes with all this stuff. It is a big ass Monkey Island collector's box with all the games, tons of extras. I went ahead and bought it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Bought myself a $200 thing that'll sit on my shelf.
Oh no! Don't do that. That's the thing. I can't stand. Like, I got the VR, the PSVR Rogue Squadron.
Oh yes, Star Wars Squadrons. Yeah.
Star Wars Squadrons, and it's so much fun, and it's so crazy being in the cockpit of an X-wing or a TIE fighter. and I haven't played it in so long. And I'm like, I hate when I do that to myself. I'm like, I just bought this for a reason, and we have the Vader Immortal on the Oculus. I still haven't played it yet.
Oh no! I don't intend to play this game at all. I don't intend to do anything but open them and add them to the collection because I've played these games multiple times already, and I just want to put it next to my Monkey Island statue, my grog bottle, and my Guybrush Threepwood voodoo doll that I'm looking at right now. And if I can spend $200 on something that goes on my shelf, well, that's a lot cheaper than all the artwork that Derek has bought.
I was just gonna say, at least, I mean, I've got a few up in here, but at least that's gonna go on a shelf. I have about 40 to 50 Mondo posters in a portfolio under my bed that will never get touched.
It's not even his portfolio. It's not his work. I feel like, let me see the work you've done. He pulls out his portfolio.
It's like, well, I flattened them and I slipped them in and I chose the order that they go in. You know, presentation.
Here's my resume.
Here's my resume. Here's how much I've spent.
Speaking of a lot of money, guys, you could absolutely donate to the Boys and Girls Club via this link. And all of these people on this stream are talking about how poorly they spend their money.
I donated, so...
Here's a great reason.
But Derek donated with Canadian dollars, so he really should donate a little bit more just to make it up to snuff on the American donations.
You got the loony moony.
Yes.
Hey.
Ours goes a little bit
Loonies and Toonies.
There was never mind. I was gonna never mind. There's a strip club in Toronto that has Toonie night called the Brass Rail, where they would throw quarters on the Toonies on stage. Ever been, Derek?
I've never been further east than Alberta, and at this rate, I'll never get a chance to. So,
vaccine's coming, guys.
Yeah. You mentioned Star Wars Squadron. When that came out, I was budgeting and it's Geekscape money. Yeah.
Matt can host that one too. He just finished paying off his student loans.
Hey,
absolutely.
Go Kelly.
That's actually something to be quite proud about. To pay off
I wasn't even joking.
Well, I didn't think you were. Well, yeah.
Now all of his money's going to go towards Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Big Sisters, exactly. Yeah,
absolutely.
It was all part of the plan.
Of New Jersey. Screw all the other ones.
No, but seriously, that's a huge accomplishment, and it was funny because Mark actually just recently paid off his student loans as well, and there's like a bill that's potentially in place that will maybe wipe all student loan debt away, and people were like, aren't you upset now that you've just paid off all your things? And he's like, no, I'm not upset. I would much rather have everybody else not go through what I had to go through in struggling to pay all of this off and just have that wiped free. Why would I crush the little guy? Yeah.
Poor Matt.
Live with your parents rent free and you too can pay off your loans. Ouch.
Also screen printed movie posters, beautiful, but also an investment, you know?
Yeah,
I'm gonna make money on this stuff. Is what I keep telling myself every week when I drop.
Derek, do you have any that you still want to that you're like, oh, that one is matured, I'd like to sell it?
Oh, that one is what? Sorry.
That one has matured. I would like to sell it.
That one is mature, like matured in value.
Matured, like in value, yes.
I mean, like a lot of them, but I've never been able to bring myself to sell any of them because I love them all,
okay, so that's the problem I was going to get to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's ones like I bought. There's this beautiful Transformers, the anime, Transformers the movie one that I got at Comic-Con years ago. It's like $400 something US. I paid like $60 US for it. Fucking love it. Can't get rid of it. Never will.
Okay, well the fire will claim it. So
I got insurance for that. So like,
but you're not gonna.
I was just gonna say on the poster or
I can't wait for the insurance person to be like, yeah, renter's insurance, great. Well, let's see how much is covered. Oh, there's a cap.
I should look into that. It's all cataloged, so like, you know, I've got a spreadsheet.
Do you?
Portfolio.
Oh my.
Yeah, portfolio. You know,
you don't want to see my spreadsheet.
Honestly, I did have a friend who he had a huge catalog of all these comics and rare stuff too, and it got broken into and all stolen. And he had the full detailed catalog, and he sent it off to the insurance. And I don't think they paid full out, but they paid a good portion.
Do you put Amiibo in your catalog while you're at it? Do you tell your insurance people about the Amiibo?
They're not cataloged. I should actually unbox them and put them.
I
in
gotta
the
tell
catalog,
you, I'm playing. I told Katie that I was been playing that Hyrule Warriors
Yeah,
Age of
right.
Calamity, and all the amiibo do the exact same thing in that game, and that
Weird.
stinks. I love
Weird.
my amiibo.
like nothing. They don't do anything. Like you could have one amiibo and it just.
I could have a Mario amiibo. It doesn't give a damn. It's still going to give me fish. It doesn't matter.
So, London,
Yeah.
are
Oh,
you
really?
saying that Hyrule Warriors is a little bit lame?
No, I love that game.
Oh no,
But
it's
the amiibo support
it's
is no good. Shane is texting me being like, "Oh my god, this game is awesome," and I'm like, "It is, Shane." The game is pretty long too.
yeah.
Is it? Okay,
A lot
I
of
assumed it was-
content.
Okay,
None of
maybe.
it's amiibo
I-
worthy.
They
I
couldn't
had-
fit the amiibo stuff on the cartridge because there's so much other content going
I'm
on.
actually like, I need this game to end so that I can move on to something else because I'm just
Seriously.
playing this game and it's fun, but it is not like a Zelda game in the level of depth. It's just the redundancy of a smash 'em up, which is still fun, but let's bring it to a close here.
I had to get all the rust and dust off because I haven't played a Dynasty Warriors game in 20 years, and I died in the tutorial level. That's how like game overed multiple times in the
Wait.
tutorial.
What?
Yeah,
All you have to do is repeatedly hit the same button over and over again to slash at things.
I kept getting just completely.
What were you doing?
Correct.
Chewing on the controller? Like, I don't understand how like Derek could have done
Is
this.
there like also like rather than hitting the same button, is there like combos
Yeah.
combos that would do
They
moves
added a
because
second button.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a 2-button
okay,
game.
that's
You
not
hit the Y a ton for the fast attack, X for the power attack, and when you throw the X in there with your Ys, anytime you want, you'll end up doing some kind of a combo. Every now and then you hit a trigger combination with something else to like do a spell or something, but for the most part, Shane, what the
one.
hell were you doing?
I don't know. I was playing on the hardest
Joy-Con drift.
difficulty, and it was there was the sun was in my eyes, but it was bad. It was
How dumb do you feel? Like it feels like that Z button thing.
Yeah.
Like I had that with Astrobot, the original Astrobot rescue mission. I didn't realize that like you had to swipe the controller to like throw the throwing stars, and I'm on the final battle and I have no idea what is going wrong. And like I've played the entire game and I didn't realize you just had to like do this a bunch of times. And so I'm just like, I don't even remember what I was doing, but I kept dying and I was like rage quitting live on Machinima's stream. Just like, what is happening?
You discovered that you had to swipe at the controller by
Yeah,
swiping the
literally-
controller across the room in frustration.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just-
I got a quick story on another Shane O'Hare being inept at video games. One time we had a LAN party at my friend's house where we played through Diablo 2 plus the expansion, and I picked the assassin, and we played. We stayed up for 24 hours straight. Like it was sun up, sundown. We were in the last level, right before the expansion pass boss. And the whole time I've just been like looking at my skills and leveling up. I'm like, man, my character's only got like 2 or 3 skills. This is dog shit. Everyone's got different things. Like I picked a shitty character. It was an assassin. We're in the last hallway before we go in, and I'm like, wait, what's this button over here? It was page 2 and 3 of skills. I had like level 50 fire traps. I just like, well, I mean, the only thing in here is cool. It's just this. I played 24 hours, 26 hours nonstop and was just leveling up one skill. And right before the end, I'm like, acrobatics,
Oh, no.
knife throwing. And I was like,
Oh
well,
my gosh.
This game would have been a lot more fun had I known how to play it.
yeah, no, I mean, my fire traps were dope. I mean, they were fire. Hey,
Wow, I'm excited that I think what happened on Hyrule Warriors that first level is your entire controller was upside down. The whole thing was a Z button at that point.
Yeah, it was really, yeah, I've got a track record for weird ineptitude.
I
That's
do the
great.
same thing. I do the same thing. I don't know what it is, but it like
Info
every
bot
once in a
would
while,
say
I
something
just
about that.
yeah, it's fine. I feel like you can't be a true gamer unless you fuck up real hard on something very basic.
That's how you
my
become a
philosophy.
gamer. You're like, life a little rough. Let me go to this virtual world, and this is much safer. What did y'all think of any of the announcements coming out of the Game Awards that happened earlier this week? I think I was pretty focused on like the Disney stockholders announcements, like
yeah.
Marvel and DC or Marvel and Star Wars stuff that we'll get to later on tonight. But what were the big announcements of the Game Awards? If y'all can fill me in.
The one that blew me away was the Smash announcement.
The Sephiroth or
Sephiroth, mostly because there's been a lot of turmoil in the Smash community right now, and
Really?
everybody hates Nintendo.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
why again?
Nintendo shut down a Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament because it used networking software, and they said that connected all the computers together because COVID, you can't do the tournament in person. They said no, you can't use this software. You're using emulators. It's pirated stuff, and of course, everybody on Instagram or Reddit or Twitter is suddenly an intellectual property lawyer, and they this isn't illegal. Blah 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 blah. This is just Nintendo being money grubbing, son of a guns. So everybody hates Nintendo right now, and
that was something totally different than what I thought they were hating for. There was like a Kickstarter for there was that streamer that committed suicide earlier in the year, Etika.
Etika. So there was a famous streamer, Etika, that killed himself this year, and there was a Kickstarter for Etika themed Joy-Con
case shells, yeah.
And Nintendo shut it down. Whatever. Interesting follow up to that. Etika's surviving brother said these people haven't contacted us. They don't have permission to use his name. They say that the shells are going for $60. $10 are going to mental health charity. Mm-hmm. They don't say what charity it is. It's It's not going to our brother. It's not going to anything. They're using his name on all this. The cost to make them is like $4. So the dude's pocketing $50+ off of someone's name that he doesn't have permission for. So there's drama on drama on drama with that. And
it's kind of good they shut him down, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that. I had just seen that it was shut down. I mean, I thought people were angry about that.
Yeah, I mean, but the whole Smash tournament thing was rough. But everybody on Reddit and Twitter, which the pinnacle of mental fortitude is.
It's Reddit. Crazy that they can be experts on intellectual property, vaccines,
just not hygiene.
Yeah, not hygiene. Everybody was convinced that it was going to be the new Smash character was going to be the default character from Fortnite, like Jonesy or something, and everybody was pissed, the leaks and the rumors, it's going to be this dude from Fortnite. F Nintendo, F this.
I feel like that would be cool. People love Fortnite.
I mean, yeah.
And then I saw the trailer where Sephiroth shows up, and I was like, damn, they came out of left. There was nobody even thought that Sephiroth was going to be.
Well, that shot where he looks like he's stabbed Mario is what are they doing?
Yeah.
It was kind of morbid. Yeah, no, it's so sick. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought about Final Fantasy in so long.
Well, and now that the floodgates are open in terms of we've got Kratos. Talking about Fortnite, we've got Kratos, we've got Master Chief, and all that stuff in Fortnite. Yeah. What if we saw Master Chief in Smash or something like that? That'd be insane.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
What other announcements were there on the Game Awards? I saw the Sephiroth one, and I was sad that Professor Layton wasn't added to Smash Brothers. That's all. That's every time I'm
every time that's your hope. You're just
I want Professor Layton. Yeah. He just throws that little kid at him.
I feel like it was. It felt like a smaller show in terms of announcements. I think probably just based on how the last year has gone, and I think that we're obviously in a huge transitional period with these new consoles that nobody can get. Just having come out. I actually had 2 Xbox Series X's because the Walmart pre-orders went up first, and I thought that Best Buy had a better chance of getting it to me on launch day. So no, listen here. So I went to cancel the Walmart pre-order. You can only do it for. It would have been really great if Shane joined in on that, but
I know we were hoping for that, but he had to get his puff in.
he was trying to make it so he couldn't see, but there's a huge cloud of smoke around.
There's a naked robot just off camera that he had to blow real quick.
Hey, it's better than 2 packs of cigarettes a day, which I would. Yeah, but I feel like I'm sucking off a Dyson. I hate it.
So you can only cancel Walmart orders for 30 minutes, which I had no idea of. So then I was just stuck with it. So I just like a friend that wanted one didn't have a chance to get one or wasn't able to pre-order it. So I shipped it over to him. So
Yeah, man, that would have been
Sweet.
yeah, that would have been cool if you sent me a text and see if I wanted one.
you're
Yeah.
a PC gamer. You're a
I've
PC
got
gamer.
I got a PS4 and a Switch. And
That's true.
and yo, check this out.
And
How
a Stadia? Did you get a Stadia? I got a Stadia last week too.
What
I
is
gotta-
that?
It's
Google Stadia.
I can't imagine it's very good at your house, but at my house it's excellent.
What is that?
So
So-
Google in the it's been about a year now, but it's
Yeah.
like their cloud gaming platform, and so
Yeah. You can basically have access to almost all games. Not all, but like almost all games.
it's really great. Like Cyberpunk just launched on Stadia.
Which
But
I was
this
like-
is PC based.
yeah,
No.
yes,
Well-
yeah.
P-
Like they're
Yeah, I mean, you got to use a computer to do it.
yeah. Well,
It's not like a console.
so
Necessarily.
it's it all just
like
it
via
streams
internet.
it via the internet on their servers. But it's kind of neat because there's the issue of latency, so the controller, rather than like connecting to your computer via Bluetooth, which then goes to the internet, the controller connects directly to Wi-Fi, which like takes one step out of there. So like I was playing, they have like a pro membership which lets you stream in 4K with surround sound, and in like just like PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold would give you a couple free games every month. Stadia like Pro or whatever it's called gives you some games every month that you can just play and keep as long as you're a subscriber.
How
But
much is that? How much is that?
it's like
subscription?
$10 a month.
In America. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
$10 American, $12 here in Canada. But you can also like even if you don't have the pro subscription, like if you were like, oh, I have like a MacBook as my only device and I want to play Cyberpunk, you could just buy the game and stream it in 1080p for free. You don't have to actually pay anything to use the service. Only if you want 4K streaming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
wait, buy the game.
Yeah.
And you buy it like you bought it for an Xbox.
$60.
Or
Yeah, you're just buying the Stadia version and then you run it in your browser.
Yeah.
And so, so this is a mainly PC game, but you're able to play it in the browser through
You
the
can play-
Stadia servers
Yep.
on your Mac.
Yeah.
You can
So
play-
even though your Mac could never run it, you're now running like a pretty high quality version of it just remotely.
On your-
and
How
if you have
much
like
is
a
that
Chrome
thing?
So-
The controller that you just got.
So this thing was this thing sells for $99, but they had a promo recently where if you signed up, if you were a YouTube,
YouTube
Premium member
Premium, yeah.
and signed up, they would send it to you for free. And so I signed up everybody in my family group. So I got 5 of these.
And it's not
Nice.
just the controller. You get like a Chromecast, which
Yeah.
would let you play Stadia on your TV as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
they have a promotion still running where I think up until the 18th, if you buy Cyberpunk on Stadia, you get one of those packages for free as well, which is like the package retails for more than the game does. And apparently is one of the best ways to play right now because the game is completely borked on Xbox One and PS4 games consoles. So.
Yeah, they're having a lot of issues. That was actually. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just to wrap this up. Oddly enough, I got it purely for the controller.
Yeah.
Because you can wire it into your computer and use it as like an Xbox controller on your PC.
Right.
And
Oh, cool.
I've been playing Forza 4 with it, Flight Simulator with it. It does.
Your flight simulator. You love that game.
Yeah.
Did you try Duke Nukem Nuclear Winter?
Can,
I actually couldn't get that to run. I didn't even get past the loading screen.
It was tight.
can I ask you, Shane, have you, because I know that if things are still the same, your internet's not the best up there. Have you tried Stadia with your connection, and how has that experience been?
I played, was it Little Horrors?
Little Nightmares?
Little Nightmares.
Yeah.
Played that. That was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would see some fidelity loss, like it would get
Okay.
pixelated every once in a while. I played Sniper Elite 4.
Sniper Elite 4 is so cool, by the way.
Not for me.
Okay, all right.
It would lose so much definition that it would be looking like you ever receive a video from somebody on an Android and
It's horrible. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it looked like that, and the delay from like panning around, it was not
Sure.
a good experience. But I've got maybe 15 megs down at my place on a good day, so I just don't have good internet. If it was better internet, I would definitely.
Yeah, like I played mostly on the Chromecast that it came with, connected to Ethernet, and like I could not tell that it wasn't local. Like no more perceptible
cool.
lag than, and I mean I have really good internet. Like 750 up and down.
Wow.
But
Fiber,
there's no,
right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
like I'm lucky enough to have fiber in my area, but it was just like, and at that point there's the barrier of entry where it's like you could just play this in your, I want to play Cyberpunk, don't have a computer that can run it, don't have a console. You could just buy the game, not even have to pay anything aside from the game to play it. Like if you have the capability to play it well, like I was really impressed with it, like way more than I thought I would be. And I've been super interested in that stuff from like xCloud, one day hopefully coming to iOS, which they just announced should come in the spring. But I remember playing like the second Deus Ex game on like this service called OnLive way back in the day.
I remember OnLive. I totally remember OnLive.
Yeah. And it was like, I was like, I had like a MacBook Air at the time and you couldn't do anything with it, but I'm like playing this brand new Deus Ex game on there and it was like, just felt so cool.
Derek loves these fly-by-night.
Oh, I am a sucker for gimmicks. Like,
he
100%.
He just stopped Quibi because Quibi shut down. Like he was watching it right up to the end.
What?
Oh, Quibi.
Yeah. I tried to open the app the other day and it was just like a sad message.
He just sat there with his computer stroking the
just
screen.
Watched it.
That's amazing. It's so funny because both Quibi
I'll never get
and
to see that show that
Google
Katie starred in.
Yeah, right? I still haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it. But also, the other thing that's funny is that at the beginning of the pandemic, I was booked to be in a Google Stadia commercial with my good buddy Jake. And then they had to shut down production because everybody had to stay at home. And it was like within the same like couple of days that I shut that stupid Quibi thing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Stupid pandemic.
It's Stadia is a good avenue to play some new games because getting new PC parts.
Oh, it's tough right now.
There's nothing. You talked about scalpers with the PS5. There's people selling graphics cards for twice the amount. Power supplies. It's rough. It's rough. But before we
those damn Jawas is what it is.
Yeah. Before we start wrapping up, just I want to go around the table and see what would you suggest to parents, or what would you want to see under your Christmas tree, your gaming gift of the year for 2020 under your Christmas tree or under the menorah. I'm not familiar, so I apologize for any instance.
Under the menorah.
Let's go with John. What would you suggest that would be a good Christmas gift for gamers?
If I was a kid, I would go with the Miles Morales game. I feel like Last of Us 2 is a little bit mature for like a 12-year-old, but I think that, or maybe a 10-year-old, but I think that kids would love that Miles Morales game. I think that the only frustration in the Miles Morales game, although they'll love the story and there are some like high drama moments in it, it's nothing that isn't high drama from a Spider-Man movie. And so kids who love the Spider-Man movies are right up to speed on that, especially Spider-Verse. There was a lot of Spider-Verse influence on Miles Morales, the game. But if they can get past like the button combos on some of the tougher opponents, I think kids would love Miles Morales. Otherwise, I don't think there's a lot of fresh content on the Switch this year, but that's always a good one for kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Katie, what would you either want to see or suggest for a good under the Christmas gaming present?
Okay, I've got a lot. So I think Miles Morales, for sure. This is also like my plea.
Last of Us 2, as long as you're over 10, is what Jonathan said.
Yeah.
Which I'm super down for. I mean, I love Last of Us 2. I actually had that. That was so fantastic. The pre-order for Horizon Forbidden West. Very excited for that. I honestly, I'm so excited for Cyberpunk 2077. Like, I really want to play that game so hard. I've heard amazing things about it. Absolutely. And also, not an actual video game, but Ready Player 2, the book by Ernest Cline.
I'm halfway through.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm pretty sure my boyfriend and I both got each other that one.
Nice.
That book is getting such criticism online.
Oh, is it?
But I remember, like,
somebody called it a listicle.
Yeah. I remember
No.
reading the
It's
first.
hilarious.
Oh,
It seemed like everyone liked the first one when it came out, which is when I read it, and I just had such a fun time with it. And then, like
It's a
2 years
fun
later,
game.
everyone's just like, it's just a piece of shit, like nostalgia. Like they're just name dropping everything that they possibly could from the. But it was so much fun, and I'm having a lot of fun with the second one as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like it did, like when I read the first one, it felt like it was intended to be a film script, is what that felt
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Just the way he hit his.
And I
beats
loved
everything.
the movie. Like
I did too.
Yeah,
It
it
got
was
so
so much
much
fun.
shit, and I,
did like the
loved
movie.
it.
I
I
saw it
really
twice,
liked
I
it.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
I
watched
picked it up.
the
It
other
was,
day.
it was the first 4K Blu-ray that I bought. Was that movie, and we watched it recently, just like the night before the second book came out, because I was so excited for it. And I would say like the first one, I like the first book a lot better, but I'm like super enjoying this one as well for sure. So it's really cool.
Great.
all right. What about you, Derek? What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's new console year, so if you have the means and you can find it, a new console is probably what the kids would like the best, because it'll run Fortnite better. But in terms of which one, I feel like it's really tough, because on the Xbox Series X, obviously, or the Series S is like a great lower cost, like Game Pass machine. I feel like that is really the gift that keeps on giving, is get that Xbox. You can even get it with the Xbox All Access plan, which lets you pay like monthly for the console, but you also get 2 years of Game Pass included with it.
Wow.
And then you're basically never going to need to buy another game again, because there's 300 plus games on there. They just added all the EA titles as well. There's probably some Sonic on there.
Oh yeah, there definitely is.
Yeah. But you're also, you get all the EA games as well, but also any Microsoft published titles, which there probably won't be for a while at this point, because they just pushed Halo even further. But those games, like the day they come out, is when you're getting them just as part of your Game Pass subscription. So longevity wise, I think the Xbox is probably the way to go. But if you're looking to like have the most fun right now, it's all about Astrobot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get them both. Get them both consoles.
Yeah, I still can't.
Pirate Pete's got them if you need them.
I thought about this for a minute. So what I would suggest all parents get is Lemmings Christmas edition.
No,
On Stadia.
no.
On
Matt,
the
cut his
Ouya.
feed. Cut his feed,
Yeah.
Matt.
I honestly think the best gaming Christmas gift this year could be a Switch with a slew of games. It's got some maturity. The PS5 has a lot of issues going on with like software and downloading the games and like getting into weird like loops. I have no interest in the Xbox right now. I do have Xbox Game Pass on PC, which is a great value, to parrot Derek. But yeah, get a Nintendo Switch, get Animal Crossing, get Pokemon, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. Yeah.
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 Just be careful of that first level.
Yeah. Tutorial.
Which button is it that you got to press?
It tells you multiple times throughout the
Yeah,
tutorial.
it does. And actually, what messed me up is that I would go play in the Stadia and the buttons are backwards.
Oh, they're really yeah.
Yeah, they're
that's
backwards.
annoying.
I understand that.
Yeah. I'm just covering up for my ineptitude. Story of my life. But definitely the Nintendo Switch. I think there's a lot of fun games out there. You can get the Mario Kart augmented reality game, which
That
is
thing's insane. Yeah.
Oh, it looks so cool.
Dude,
Just
they
gotta
look so
love it.
cool.
I do feel like that game looks like it could be like amazing or terrible depending on how interesting the layout of your house is, though.
Right. Or how much carpet you
Yeah.
have.
I want to see the ramp off of the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's I saw a video on YouTube where they set up like 5 carts and all the setups and made elevations, and you can get really
insane.
You can get really creative with it. You just have to put some time into it. But if you are looking to get some gifts, get a Nintendo Switch. And there we go. So that was the Geekscape Games Reunion show. More to come, maybe.